Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Captain Logan Show. I am indeed Captain Logan, broadcasting live from fabulous Branson, Missouri. Once again, we're doing an extra bonus show this week because we made a goal last week, and I promised I would do 2 shows, and I said on the road, which I guess just meant away from my house, away from Geekvolution headquarters. Originally, I was just going to shoot this in the car, and I thought better of that because I didn't know if the reception would hold, if the internet would hold, DJ. Like driving in like Podunk, Nowheresville, Missouri. So I thought maybe it would be better to do it actually in the hotel room. But the main reason I'm doing this is because DJ said he was available tonight and kind of wanted to be here. So look, once again, it's my wonderful, fabulous producer. I'm using that word a lot tonight. Producer and chat moderator, DJ Martinez.
Fabulous.
It's the only way, and I'm also finding that I've landed on this way of saying your name that I can't get away from. It's like I become an announcer in the middle of my own show. You know, like yeah. I'm the host of my show, but whenever I introduce you, I want to like get off the screen and be like, introducing DJ Martinez, and then here comes DJ Martinez. There he coming at you.
Here I am. Had to rock purple because it's on theme tonight. Different purple pattern last time, but
it is on theme tonight. I don't have anything purple today. I wasn't expecting to do 2 shows in the hotel room, so I only brought the 1 coat. That's all I've got. And as I mentioned last week on the show, I have a bunch of these button-up shirts of a very similar color to this. So this is nigh purple, but it's not. You know, it's more of like I don't know what you call that, like a burgundy. Yeah, but it's I'm not. Yeah, right. Yeah, maroon. But I can't say like maroon 5 because I have more shirts than 5.
Do you have 5 of those maroon shirts, or you have more?
I have at least 7 or 8. I have at least 7 or 8. Yeah.
That's awesome.
But I'm not talking about dyeing my hair this color. It would be something a little bit closer to DJ's time. So let's go ahead and talk about the goal tonight. We have a crazy goal tonight. We'll see if we come anywhere near it. I wanted to up the goal amount tonight and make this a little bit more difficult because I want to let you guys decide whether or not I should really do this. I'm not only doing something pretty drastic, which is to dye my hair, my entire head, all of my hair, purple. And DJ, and hopefully it doesn't look like the worst thing in the world. We're going to see what it looks like. If it's just terrible, I'll let it go away. And if somehow I'm like, wow, that's really cool, I might do it again down the road. I might keep it for a while. I don't know yet. I'm just going to play this by ear. But anyway, so we're doing this silly purple hair thing. If you missed the show last week and you haven't heard us talk about this, I'll briefly set this up again. So I mentioned this crazy idea of dyeing my hair purple and that I had kicked around doing something, you know, wild and crazy, wacky. And then Bag Studios made a picture on the Secret Superhero Screen Society on Facebook, our Patreon group, and said, hey, look, this is what Captain Logan would look like with purple hair. And it was this bright like fuchsia and it looked horrible. And I was like, well, guy, you can, if you're in that group, you can go look at my message. I was like, I'm never doing that. Okay, I'm done. I'm never doing that. And then DJ went with a different hue, and I was a little bit more careful with his graphic design ability to make it look a little bit more natural. And I was like, well, nah, I don't know. And then we couldn't tell if DJ was joking or not because he was like, yeah, no, that looks okay. And then I was like, are you kidding? And he would never tell me. To this day, I don't know if he's kidding or not. And so, but I looked at it and I was like, I don't know, it doesn't look terrible. Maybe it's all right. And I decided to make it a goal and let you guys decide. So purple hair may be happening. I am looking for a $100 goal tonight. If we hit, and that's the most we've ever done for a goal, I wanted to, again, hike it up a little bit to just make it more of an event and see if we can get there. Don't necessarily expect to get there. If you guys really want to see me with purple hair, you can help us get there. $100 goal tonight. And if we don't, I won't. That's the whole plan. So that's what we're doing. So let's find out if you guys are crazy enough to help me do the crazy thing that I'm talking about doing. DJ, we're going to go ahead and get right into stuff.
We've already got 2 super chats.
Sweet, thanks, guys. There is no theme tonight beyond Cap might have purple hair. The questions do not all need to be related to the color purple or about my hair, but they can be if you have anything brilliant and insightful about Sorry, what was that, DJ?
That would be impressive if they could relate them all to the color purple.
Yeah, that would be nuts. I can't even imagine. I mean, we've still got, like 55, 56 minutes left in the show. Just imagine. So it's an Ask Me Anything show. You can ask me about anything you want to within reason, of course. We can chat about superhero stuff, superhero to screen stuff, science fiction stuff, things going on in the news. You guys might have to report some things to me because I have been out of the loop a little bit. As I said on Wednesday, I've not looked into E3 stuff. I still haven't had time to do that. A couple of people were wanting me to look at some videos and stuff. I have not had time to look at anything. I'm really sorry about that, but I just have not. I've been on vacation. I'm in Branson. I'm doing a bunch of stuff with my family. I've been out all day long. I have not had minute one to sit down and watch anything. So you guys might have to report some things to me and then be like, okay, Cap, what do you think of that? Now, well, off the top of my head, sounds great. So anyway, we'll make this as interesting as we can, and hopefully we have a great time as always. I gotta tell you guys, I have really been enjoying doing the Captain Logan show. I've always liked doing this show. It's been even more fun since the relaunch. We've been having slightly larger crowds, and it's been an absolute blast, and DJ has brought quite a bit to it, so I want to thank DJ for all of his help and all of his graphic design work, of course, on the channel. Okay, as always, if you want to help us out with the show, you can leave a super chat. That will both help the channel to keep moving along, help me get stuff to review, help me keep up with technology stuff, help me pay the bills, and also help me get purple hair if you really want to see that happen. Let's go ahead and get right into it. DJ, why don't you know what, I'm going to start with this question because it's about the purple hair. Carl Maxey asks, Captain Logan, what does your wife think about you having purple hair? I think she's of two minds about it, because she's been very careful to not come out and really express an opinion. The first thing she said, I sent her, and by the way, I would show you guys DJ's picture, but we're having to run kind of low key again tonight because I don't have OBS on this computer. So if you want to see that picture, it's in the thumbnail. Yeah, it is in the thumbnail for this show right now. So I guess actually you can look at it, but we can't put it in the show proper. But my wife was like, I sent her that picture, DJ, and I guess I didn't give her enough context because she said, well, that's hilarious. And I said, well, that's not exactly what I was saying. And by the way, if I do it, it's not going to look exactly like that, because it'll be hopefully a little bit more subtle. I have been talking to a salon about what exactly we would do with it, and we're talking about making it such that you wouldn't even necessarily be able to tell that much unless the certain light hit it in a certain way. But anyway, so they claim they can do that. We'll see. We'll see if that happens. But yeah, so Sarah was like, that looks hilarious. I was like, that's not exactly the response I was looking for. And then I said, we are going to do this goal, right? You all right with that? And she was like, well, I mean, it's not permanent, like whatever. I don't think she happens to love the idea, but she's being real cool about it. So anyway, let's go ahead and get past purple, and at least for a conversation right now, and talk about some other stuff. DJ, why don't you go to a pre-written question, then we'll knock out those couple of super chats.
All right. Here's a yes or no question. Should be easy to start off with. Blue Dragon 5. Hey, Cap, think we'll get any Rewind United on Pixar films in the near future?
I don't have any plans for anything like that. As I've mentioned before, and obviously the rewinds are real far and few between right now because I've been on vacation and stuff. But right now the plan is to focus on superhero rewind and science fiction rewind, and I've got a big long queue of requests I gotta tackle. So not a lot in the vein of Rewind United. Some of you guys probably don't even know what that is. I haven't used that title in so long, but that was my catch-all for stuff that's not superhero. I now have science fiction rewind. Eventually we're going to do superhero rewind in panels where I'm going to do comics in the rewind format. But yeah, I don't have any plans on anything outside of genre at the moment for the most part, besides one thing that I promised DJ a million years ago.
Oh, here's another one. Cap, can you give us a character breakdown on your food novel and who would provide their voices in an animated film?
That's fun. A lot of people have asked me if that would translate to animation. I feel like it's an animal farm situation where, I mean, they tried that. It was horrifying. That's what my movie would be like if you've been into a movie. It would also be a difficult thing to make because that book is closer to like an oral history or more like a written history with a lot of journal entries and things. And so it's not a typical novel. It's not a traditional novel. So it's difficult to give you a character breakdown because it's kind of a lot of mini stories that all come together to give you a wide sense of how society has changed by everyone in I should say in the United States, transforming into walking and talking junk food. What would that do to us as a society? Just a major question that we've all asked ourselves at some point in our lives, but nobody's actually sat down and written about it. But yeah, so like there are a couple of major characters that show up throughout. There's a serial killer who's a big deal. I would probably go to the obvious go-to for that would probably be what's his name, the guy who played Ben Lannis in Lost and the Joker in the Dark Knight Returns. That's who should play the Frybox Killer. I would think.
That's great.
And then you have the president who would probably have to be voiced by Kiefer Sutherland, and but beyond that, I don't want to give a whole character breakdown. I will say that I have been considering making that a goal eventually here on the Captain Logan show to do a big read through of the book, because I've been promising it forever and we've not gotten to publishing yet, and I would probably use proceeds for that night to go directly to making the publishing happen. And what I would do is it would be a full read through of the novel, however long it takes live. It would probably be like a 6 to 8 hour live show, and folks could, but yeah, I would just do it start to finish.
Wow.
I think it would be really fun to marathon it. And folks could come in and listen to as much of it live as they wanted to, or they could listen to it afterwards. And I would put in timestamps, and you could jump around to the different chapters. But that is a thing I'm considering doing. So if there's some interest in that, I might make that a goal. What do you think about doing that, DJ? I haven't even talked to DJ about this.
That would be awesome. I'd pop in here and there. I don't know if I'd make the whole 8 hours, but
I wouldn't expect you to chat moderate. I wouldn't be answering questions.
That's true. That's true. I'll just listen. I'll just be there listening.
Blue Dragon 5 wants to know if the serial killer actually is a box of cereal. It's not. It's a fry box. It's a French fry box. But there is a joke in the book about a serial killer. There is one. There's a lot of cannibalism in the book, as you might imagine, and there are a few psycho killers that are mentioned here and there, and one of them is a cereal box who is a serial killer, and I think obsessed with eating cereal too. Donnie St. Pierre book stream sounds perfect. Yeah. Cool, man. Thanks. Michael Emerson, thanks. I don't know why I can never think of him. He's always been Lannis first.
Oh, that's what that was. I was wondering what that was reference to. Noah O is also excited about the book.
Oh, cool. Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm afraid of letting folks down. Everybody, I keep hearing like the premise sounds great, and it's like I hope you're entertained by it. It got like real existential and philosophical in places, and political commentary-esque, which is very unlike me, but it's just the direction it went, and I tend to let my writing go where it will. But anyway, yeah. Carl Maxey says the serial killer should be voiced by Christian Bale. That's a good pick, too. That would work. Okay, let's go to Super Chats, shall we?
All right, let's get this back on track.
Super Chat!
Jeffrey E. Patron. Well, hello, Jeffrey. Captain Logan,
Hi,
purple
Jeff,
hair variant cover.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
That's exactly what that would be. Yeah, we should do a shot of me before that, right? And then I'll try to like recreate the exact same shot with purple hair. Yeah. And then superimpose it and then like go back and forth. And we could do a GIF where it like bounces.
We'll make a GIF, yeah. I'll get right on it.
Thanks, buddy. Really appreciate it. I gotta stop giving DJ these BS jobs to do.
Well, I volunteered for the one because I thought it was fun and silly. Here we go. Roger Lee, $5 super chat. Congrats on 10 years with the channel. Have you made?
Yeah, it has been crazy doing this for 10 years. I don't want to ever go back to working for other people. I think I've gotten really spoiled with it. where I think it would be really hard to go back to almost the private sector. It's not like I work for the military, but it would be really difficult to go back to like, retail or something. Like sometimes I miss it. I miss like the, the human interaction of that on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes it could be a little stir crazy, working from home, and there's pros and cons to everything. But it has just been absolutely wonderful and crazy that I've been able to make it work. And that's the thanks mostly to you guys. DJ, was there any more to that?
Yeah, he says, have you made any fun purchases or been gifted anything cool this year to celebrate this great milestone?
Oh, wow. Good question. And yeah, put me on the spot like that because I'm afraid I'm going to forget something. There have been certainly some folks have sent in some donations specifically earmarked, in 10 years. Congratulations. Thanks for that. And that's been really super cool. So it's mostly been that kind of thing. I'm trying to think of if anybody's, I mean, I don't have a PO box right now. And I keep forgetting to do that. I keep promising that I haven't done it yet, but, so there are only a few people that even know where to send me things right now. And I have to keep it that way because I have a family, but I think most of the stuff this year that's been sent has just been like Christmas and things like that. But yeah, I haven't bought anything crazy for the anniversary. I keep wanting to do some kind of big celebration. We've been doing a lot of cool, content for the channel. Originally, I wanted to do like a big get together and invite a bunch of subscribers and stuff, and it just didn't come together. We might eventually do something like that, but it didn't happen for the 10th, unfortunately. But anyway, what else, sir?
We got from Noah, we got a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Noah. Noah O. Hey, Cap and DJ, would you like to see a proper conclusion to Fox's X-Men in another medium, or do you think Dark Phoenix and New Mutants should be the last we see of this franchise?
In my mind, it was over already, is the thing. I think of those movies as total mulligans. I wouldn't be interested in seeing something that attempts to make those movies make more sense in the universe that was there already, because it would be like, maybe you could do something clever, but I don't care. We already had a soft reboot and then we ignored it and didn't care about it. And as I said last week, or as I said on the X-Men show, and the same people making it were like, here's a really cool way to soft reboot our universe. And now that we've done that, we'll just do whatever we want to. It doesn't have to fit any kind of rules at all. Yeah, it's really hard for me not to just completely write those two movies off. And in my mind, the X-Men movie universe proper ended with Days of Future Past, and then we did an almost like pocket dimension thing with Logan, and finally gave Wolverine the movie that we both needed and he deserved. So I don't think I would be interested in a thing like that. I wouldn't mind doing more stuff in another medium that was in that continuity pre that, or if you did something kind of fun in the interim where you just ignored those. If you made like what First Class 3 would have been after Days of Future Past, if Singer cared, then like or in Kinberg, like, yeah, like that would be fine. Make Apocalypse the way it should have been. That would be fun. But other than that, I don't care.
I'm gonna jump over to pre-written if that's okay. We have
do it, man.
Matthew Bass, very interesting. Hey Cap, when do you think ambiguity is a good thing in story, and when does the audience deserve some answers?
That's a great question. That's fantastic. Ambiguity can be great, and of course you got to be careful not to look real super pretentious with it, which can be a very difficult line to walk. But ambiguity is great when you allow me, the reader or the viewer, to, did he say specifically with film or just in narrative in general?
Just story.
Me, the viewer or the reader, I need to, ambiguity is great when you're using it to let me make up my own mind about the ideas and about how I feel about any points you might be making. And it can also sometimes be cool at the end of a thing where you're wondering where certain, like where your protagonist is going to go next, or even like a choice somebody makes or something. Sometimes you can have an ambiguous ending where you don't even know what the next thing is that happens, as long as you told a complete story before you got there. And I understand that person, and he had a good opportunity for change if you're telling a traditional story. This is all contingent upon you're not doing something that breaks the rules on purpose and has its own internal logic. And I understand why you're doing that. And so it's playing by different rules. But we're talking about just straight up traditional narrative. I'm okay with ambiguity if it's in one of those categories. I'm not okay with ambiguity if it messes with my understanding about character motivations, and when it makes it so that people aren't acting like real people, and when you're using it as a crutch so that you can just have characters do whatever you want them to, and it doesn't matter. When ambiguity gets in the way of me being in my protagonist's head, when I'm supposed to sympathize with them or to just understand the rules of your universe, that's when it's a problem.
Well said, well said. We have a quick $2 super chat from Mr. Roboto. Cap, can you do Netflix DC streaming rewind?
Netflix does. So just it'd be weird to do a separate pocket show just for those, wouldn't it? Are you talking about just like the new DC Universe streaming shows? Like, let's just get those all knocked out in rewinds. Some of that could happen down the line. I don't have specific plans for specific things. Obviously, if the world were my oyster and I knew for sure that you'd be able to implant my brain in a machine so that I would never die, I would promise you everything. I would say, we're going to do every TV show. We're going to do every superhero movie. Everything that's ever happened in superhero going to happen eventually. You know why? Because I got 300 years, but I don't. So I can't promise that. Or at least I don't right now. I really think in my lifetime, it's absolutely possible that that immortality becomes possible in some form. It just might be really scary and makes it so that we're not people anymore. And chances are I won't be able to afford it. But it is possible in my lifetime, but I don't want to expect that, so I can't promise that. See, sometimes I just go on too long for the sake of a joke, but some of that could happen. I mean, I'm hearing great things about Swamp Thing. If it already got canceled, it's only 10 episodes. I could see doing a rewind on that. There are, other things that Titans that I watched the pilot of and absolutely hated. I don't want to have to do that. And then there are all kinds of stuff on DC streaming that is not original to that I want to cover eventually. And I've been talking a lot lately about eventually doing a series overview or season overviews of Justice League and Justice League Unlimited and things like that, or top 10 episodes. So yes, those things are all possible, but I'm not going to promise them because mortality. Go ahead.
Here we go from Magpie's Nest Productions, $7.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Have you thought about doing more Here we go. Right along with it. Have you thought about doing more top 10 episodes of other superhero shows? My vote is for Defenders of the Earth.
I absolutely have, and as I was just talking about, and I want to do top 10 shows for things that are more episodic and that are, because like I've said this before, I probably should have done that for the 90s Spider-Man show. Because I ended up making that more of like a series overview thing with really detailed reviews of the 10 episodes I decided to do and put them in order because that ended up being such a serialized show. So I would go back to those more for things that it would, make sense to just break down 10 episodes instead of talking about the whole thing because it's a beginning, middle to end kind of story. Defenders of the Earth would be one of those I would do that with if I did it with, every animated show based on a comic book and was immortal and I had the time to do such a thing. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say that Defenders of the Earth is impossible. There's just so many superhero cartoons that I would want to do that with, and that's not real super high on the list. I own that show now. I've never actually sat down and watched an episode of it, so I should do that.
I haven't even heard of it. That's cool.
Yeah, it's a blend of, it's a crossover show with a whole bunch of characters from like pulp comics. So awesome. It's got I know some folks are going to put people in the comments that I'm not thinking of, but the Phantom is in it, and characters like that.
Awesome. We're at $37 already, guys.
Wow, fantastic! Thanks, guys. We really appreciate it.
I'm gonna do one more super chat from Hector.
See if I went up with purple hair. And by the way, if we get there, I'm gonna do it as soon as I get back to Kansas City. I'm gonna do it probably on Sunday, so I should have it for the next Captain Logan show next.
Yeah. If you've joined us late, the goal tonight is $100 to make Cap dye his hair purple. You heard me right.
So you guys really want to see that happen. And as I said, I'm not necessarily expecting that to happen, but I was on the fence about it. I'm going to let you guys decide. So contribute to the super chats if you really want to see that happen. And by the way, let me mention real quick. I just want to be totally up front and transparent and stuff. If I'm seeming a little bit low key tonight, I have ever since like lunch today, I've not been feeling great. So like I'm doing my level best to make this fun and interesting. But I've been feeling a little under the weather all day. So hopefully, so I don't know, I'm trying to get a spring back in my step. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, you're doing great. So here we go. Like I said, Hector Rivera gave us an $8 super chat.
Thank you so much.
Cap! 2 exclamation
points.
What? Quick. Pitch a Thunderbolts movie. Characters from the MCU, story, all that.
Oh my God! Wow. Okay. I mean, thanks for the $8. I don't know if I can do that justice. So if it's a Thunderbolt, because I'm not super familiar with Thunderbolts, I know that it's a team of villains that are acting as superheroes. Is that what it is? Are they hired? I don't even remember. I think it's a hired team. Am I wrong about that? So it but it doesn't have to be. You said MCU, so like it doesn't have to be the characters that it always is. The nice thing is, at least right now, we can use some Spider-Man villains. So, it'd be fun if you had, like I would start with the Vulture. Now that I'm thinking about it, like get Michael Keaton's Vulture in there, have him be the leader of that team, and then hope that Marvel and Sony keep working together, and that Spider-Man stays in that world, so we can keep using those characters. Because if we're only using characters villains that we've already seen, I don't know that you can make a great Thunderbolts movie right now, to be honest with you. I mean, folks that say that the MCU has not had the best villains, they're not wrong. I mean, there have been a few really cool ones, but as I always say, Malekith was really lame and shouldn't have been. Not that I would put Malekith on the Thunderbolts.
That would be great. Wait, who do we have that's still alive? We have Vulture. We have
yeah. What villains are even alive right now? Go ahead.
We have Abomination. We have Sockface. What's his name? Baron Zemo? No.
Baron Zemo, who's not even Sockface, but you want to put a sock on him. He could be in there. You get him in there. That'd be good.
He's alive. We got some good ones.
Well, and that's usually more of like a street level team, right?
I don't know. I could Google it if you want.
No, we don't need to do that. It's okay. But yeah, I don't know if the Thunderbolts usually even have a lot of superpowers. I mean, the nice thing is now we've got X-Men and stuff. I mean, we can use anybody but we don't know what those characters are going to look like and what versions they're doing.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to go to this. This is a.
Oh, that's right. Mr. Roboto says they're actually trying to reform. It's always reforming villains.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, like with characters that are already in the MCU right now, I don't even know who that would be interesting with.
Yeah, I don't know.
My first and only answer is Vulture is the leader, and then Baron Zemo is maybe in there. Cool. And then go back and get. I mean, I don't know why this character would be trying to reform, but go back and get Arnim Zola. Like say that there was a backup on a computer somewhere and bring it in.
Here we have this is a good pre-written question I like. Cap, this is from TSV. Cap, what's the biggest challenge you faced as a YouTube content creator so far?
Wow. That's a great question. There are many. I'm gonna pick
copyright strikes.
Copyright strikes is probably the number one. What I was gonna say before that is setting deadlines that make any sense.
Okay.
That's tough. It's really hard to look professional when you are, by definition, an amateur. And I like it really is, and especially when you have a family, and I've got 3 kids, and this is kind of I kind of have 2 full-time jobs, right? Because I'm, for lack of a better word, kind of a homemaker at the same time as I'm also a YouTube content creator, and I got to juggle those things. And I don't want to go quantity over quality, but I also get excited and have a lot of ideas, and it's hard not to want to do a bunch of stuff at once. And you throw a bunch of stuff at the wall, and if it all sticks, you're like, well, that's a great problem to have, but now there's all these things people expect me to do, which is why I've streamlined and dropped things back, and I'm not doing as many ongoing commentary series and things like that. What do you have in there? Just some water?
Just some water. Don't mind me. Continue.
We'll wait for you. It's cool. But anyway,
that's hang out jumping to me because I'm pouring water.
But yeah, well, it's just something. I mean, that's the most interesting thing visually that's happened this entire show. But yeah, so when I make promises, I want to keep them to the best of my ability. Obviously, in a perfect world, and we tried this early on, I would have. I would have Superhero Rewind coming in, and some other shows, but especially Rewind coming out at a certain time. A certain number of months, like every Friday or every other Friday or whatever it is. And I've tried to hold that before, and there have been reviews where the movie itself made it really difficult to make a deadline. And I thought, I better do this right as opposed to just rush it out. And I don't mean to make excuses. If I was working for somebody else, I'd make sure to get everything out like exactly the time it's supposed to come out. But I don't want to half-ass things. I wouldn't want to do that if I was working for somebody else either. It's just there would be expectations from somebody else, and it's easy when you're working for yourself to be a little bit more self-critical and to be a little bit more of a perfectionist, right? And so I'll go, well, I don't know, it's just not good enough. Or I've watched this movie once, but I need another go before I start writing that script. So yeah, I mean, I think balancing the quality of the thing versus the professionalism of getting stuff out on time and doing what you promised, that is the hardest part of it for me. And not overextending myself is the most difficult thing on YouTube for me. The second thing is copyright, absolutely. The third thing is live streaming. Not actually live streaming. This is not difficult. I love doing that. It's not hard, but pressing the button and being sure that people are going to be able to see it can sometimes be a challenge.
How did the people are on to me in the comments. They're all talking about how I'm not wearing pants.
Are you not wearing pants?
I'll leave that to their imaginations.
I mean, you don't need it. You don't necessarily need to be wearing pants. You guys don't know if I'm wearing pants. Full disclosure, I am. But DJ, I just want to move on from you being I'm not wearing pants right now. Here, I'll prove it if it's not. In fact, these pants even go with this jacket pretty well. Here are my pants. I'm wearing them. I have a belt on too, if you needed to know that. Anyway, go ahead.
We are at 47 now. We're almost halfway to the goal already, guys. We're flying through this.
We are just past halfway through the show. There is every possibility that the next time you guys see me, I will be. I almost said wearing purple hair. I will have purple hair. There's every possibility.
Yeah, no wigs involved, guys. This is going to be straight hair.
Oh no, I'm going to be in about 48 hours. I'll be sitting down on the salon chair making this happen.
Oh, I hope it happens.
You really want to see it happen? If you really want to see, I was going to say, I don't know if this could happen. I was going to say, if you want to see the look on my wife's face, yeah, I'll take a picture. All right, go ahead, man.
Yeah, we have a quick $2 super chat from Game Station 3. How's the Ant-Man review coming along?
I haven't started yet. I'm working on another secret science fiction rewind review that I'm going to start working on real hard again when I get back to Kansas City, right after perhaps the salon visit. But I'll be working on that on Monday, and then Ant-Man will be following right after that when I get that done. I don't expect Ant-Man to be a long write job. I've got a pretty good sense of what I'm already going to say about that, but things change. I mean, it's always based on the last viewing. I certainly never sit down and write a review without watching the movie again. Wouldn't do that.
That'd be a fun experiment. Maybe an April Fool's Day one day, maybe here.
Oh, hey, you guys want to see something? You guys want to see something cool? Give me a second. I want to show you guys something. Yeah, hold on. didn't have this at the ready.
I don't know where you're going, guys.
We were going out shopping last night. I totally splurged on something. I spent too much money on this, DJ. I should not have bought it. I splurged on this. I went to a place I never heard of. There are apparently 4 of these in the whole country. A place called Ride Makers. You ever heard of this? Ride Makers?
I have not.
You build your own toy cars. Big toy cars. You can put an RC in it if you want to. I didn't do that. Mine's just a push car. But it is the Build-A-Bear for toy cars. That's what it is.
Oh.
And I just could not help myself.
Oh, you had a bat. Oh, I knew it.
I built it. This is my Batmobile. I built it myself. I didn't really. I mean, like the body was already there.
You customized it.
You customize, right? So like I picked these hubcaps, and like I could have done more of the generic stuff that it came with, and I wouldn't have spent as much. But like I put this grill on the front, and this is magnetic. I put that on there, and I picked these side things, and it lights up. Look at that. Isn't that cool?
That's pretty fancy schmancy.
Yeah, it's neat. So I got that for the Batcave. It's still going.
Are they as expensive as Build-A-Bears?
A little worse, actually.
Oh, wow.
Or at least mine was, because I spent too much. I dropped that red thing. It's here somewhere. I'll find it. Anyway. So, yeah, I just want to show you guys that real quick. What else should we talk about?
Well, thanks to Magpie's Nest, who gave us another $7.99 super chat.
Oh, thanks, man. Jeez. We sure appreciate it.
He is helping us out a bunch today. Thanks so much. Who should be the next overarching villain for the next trilogy of Avengers films? And how before we see Fantastic Four, you think? Don't know what that second part means. And how before we see Fantastic Four, do you think?
Does he? He probably means how far before Fantastic Four would that come out, or does I'm not sure.
I think he just means separate question. And how long before we see Fantastic Four?
Oh, okay. Well, Fox has said 3 to 5 years on X-Men and Fantastic Four. We'll see if they hold to that, or if anything gets rushed out. But I think that is smart. I think they need to wait on it. I think getting Spider-Man out real quick made a lot of sense, because the last Spider-Man thing people didn't like, last X-Men thing people didn't like either, and people have never liked Fantastic Four. So what am I talking about? But Spider-Man is such a huge money-making juggernaut. Those other 2 things are not. And as I said last show, the MCU had so much street cred when they put Spider-Man in that a lot of people, I think, especially lay people, just expected it to work, just trusted it to be good. And it didn't disappoint for a lot of us. And so I still say they could probably do X-Men right away and it would be profitable, but it's gonna look like they've really got a plan and they really know what they're doing if they wait on it. So I mean, I think it is smart for them to wait on it a little bit, and it'll really bulk up that universe again. Get these characters that we've just introduced recently more in the fore and make them, Black Panther and Spider-Man, Captain Marvel. Get these characters in the fore and make them the new Captain Americas and Iron Mans before you suddenly try to throw more A-list characters into the mix. But for your first question, the big thing a lot of true comic book Avengers fans want to see is Kang, and I've never been a big Kang fan. I don't know a whole lot about that character. I loved him in Uncanny Avengers, the comics, but I think that is probably smart. That's probably the way to go. I don't know if a big time travel epic makes sense after Endgame is the thing, and I don't know if you can do Kang without time travel. So I mean, there's a big question there. I don't know, but as far as other big Avengers villains go, especially if it was a character that was, because you said trilogy of Avengers films. I mean, who knows what the next Avengers thing is even going to look like, but like if it was a big epic thing like that where we were building to somebody, where somebody was in the background, or where we used a villain for 3 whole films or 2 whole films, Kang seems to be the next big character you got, unless you use Doctor Doom. who they have access to now. I mean, it would be weird to not introduce Doom in a Fantastic Four movie, I guess, but that would be the one character that I would say they should maybe go ahead and get a move on and get him in soon. That would be my pick. Dr. Doom for a big Avengers epic, and then let him keep messing with the Fantastic Four after that. That would be my pick. I also think, again, you could do some cool stuff with Kang, but they have odd rules for time travel in that universe, and I don't think they entirely make sense in Endgame. So I don't know if I want to see that with Kang. But yeah, Dr. Doom would be my pick.
Cool. Staying on the MCU, kinda, I guess. Mr. Roboto says, DJ, any chance you might be in the next Spider-Man movie?
That has come up before. People wanting to know if we're going to see DJ, and even if you did, it would probably be like blink and you miss it. You wouldn't even know he was there. I mean, last time he was wearing a welding mask, you'd never know it was him.
I mean, if I do show up, I would be surprised because I didn't shoot anything for it. So, but no, they shot most of that overseas. They didn't shoot it in Georgia. They didn't shoot much here in Georgia, so I didn't find out how to get to it. So, no, the answer is no, definitive. We got a nice little $1 super chat from Tony Suarez. No question with that, but thanks for that. We appreciate every dollar.
Hey, we really appreciate it. I have a question I want to answer.
Sure.
Where is it? Thanks, man. Thanks for letting me answer a question on my own. Dorian McLeod, what happened to Morphamania? We have answered this question before, but it's been coming up a bunch lately. DJ and I are real bummed about it. We streamlined the channel, and we've not been doing as much of that kind of stuff because I'm wanting to focus on Rewind, knock on wood, and there've been a lot of new stuff that's come out. I've had to do a whole bunch of How We Felt About. There's vacations, there's things. I don't mean to make this the Captain Logan Makes Excuses show, but that's what's going on. And anyway, things like that were taking up even a lot more of our time, of course. And DJ graciously offered to be the new chat moderator for this show. That takes up more time that he wouldn't have for Morphamania. And it's difficult to do everything. And so, and the big thing with Morphamania was we couldn't make it a priority because there wasn't enough interest in it. So it's sort of like DS Babylon 5 used to be. And I hated stopping that show, but like the folks that liked that show really liked that show. We had some folks that offered to become patrons just to keep that show going, but it only got 200 views a show, and it was really difficult to prioritize it. And the same is true of Morphamania. Morphamania was doing less numbers than DS Babylon 59. And so I don't mean to make everything just about the view counts. It's not about ad revenue. It's not, not enough people are watching, so I'm not getting paid. It's, I'm not able to put out these other things because I'm doing that. And we're also finding that we're growing more if we're spreading things out a little bit, which is why you're not seeing 5 days of content anymore. More people seem to subscribe and stick around, and not because they're not worried about their sub boxes getting filled up constantly with stuff that they didn't care about, that had nothing to do with why they subscribed in the first place. So that's why we're not making it right now. We keep kicking around, bringing it back in some capacity, doing fewer shows, not as often and stuff. We kind of hated quitting. We're glad we at least got through Mighty Morphin.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, but maybe, who knows, someday in some capacity, see it again. Probably. Yeah,
I do miss it, but luckily I got DJ on a weekly basis, so I don't have to miss DJ.
Thanks, man. I'm blushing.
I don't miss you, DJ, because you're here.
You can stay in Branson, sir.
Go ahead. Dude, what does it matter? You're in the same place you were already. Going to a different place doesn't make it less likely I'm going to see you.
We have a $4.99.
Yeah, Dorian, no problem, man. I've been getting that question a lot lately, and I wanted to make sure and address it again.
Yeah, that was great. Marcus Russian, $4.99. Sorry if I butchered your name. Do you think Smallville ends up leaning more towards libertarian free will, fatalism, or hard determinism? Whew. Wow,
that's interesting. I would have to sit down and noodle that a little bit. Was that with the super chat?
That was $4.99 from Marcus.
Man, I'm gonna have to really. Guy, is another blue book test. I gotta take another essay test. Okay, so fatalism versus determinism
versus libertarian free. Which of the three is closest?
Which of the wow? The cop out answer is never in Well, I was going to say it never entirely lands on anything because it's so much from two different characters' perspective through a lot of it. But then, obviously, eventually Clark Kent wins out. The question at the end of the day is how much did that character change through the course of that show? Because it was a big question of free will versus predestination, and Clark seemed to believe more in the predestination thing. He kept constantly asking the question, what am I supposed to do? As opposed to, what do I want to do? And Lex was always, I don't care what the world has in store for me or what other people tell me I have to do. I'm going to go my own way. But then he ends up, making the wrong choices and then eventually just having his brain wiped and going evil because the comics say he's evil. And so it's really, so I don't know, it's easy to say that it's playing both sides of that initially. By the absolute end of that show, I have to say that it is more of a determinism thing because Lex seems to be evil because the comics say he's evil, and Clark seems to be good because the comics say he's good. I don't know what else you call that, but not free will. If you never had that not mind control, but if you never had that that mind wipe issue in there, if he never had amnesia, maybe it would be easier to side the other way. But again, there's also that question of, did Clark ever learn anything? Like, is he at the end of the day, does the world just coalesce to his will, or does he end up becoming Superman because he decided, I don't want to, let the world tell me who I am? Or did the world tell him who he is? I'm not sure, honestly, because I don't think the show's thoughtful enough for that.
Wow. See, that was great. That's great on the spur of the moment.
Thanks, man.
We are.
I've done some thinking about that show.
Yeah, a little bit. We are. Oh, we just got another one. Hold on. We are at 72. We are just 3 people doing $10 super chats away
from you having $20 away from me having purple hair. That's insane. All right.
That's awesome, guys.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. And apparently folks really want to see me do something really stupid. Maybe it'll look great. That's the hope. The hope is that it'll look great. Yeah, this is insane. You guys are, I'm trying not to tear up right now, honestly. I really am. Okay, so where are we? I was gonna say something else about Smallville, but I've forgotten what it was. So go right ahead.
Yeah, sure. We have one from T-Edge1. I think he popped out for a minute. So this is kind of similar to another one, but there's another twist on it, so we can focus on that part maybe. What is the best and worst thing? This is a $5 super chat. What is the best and worst thing about being a YouTuber? Your channel is awesome and the most professional. Can't wait for the next rewind. You rock. So he did bring in the best thing also. So
well, thank you so much. I really appreciate all of that. One of the last things you said is just objectively not true. Geekvolution is absolutely not the most professional. There's just no way around it. Really nice thing of you to say. It's just not. No. Thank you so much for that. The best thing about being a YouTuber is all of the wonderful friends I've made along the way, and all of the great, interesting, thoughtful discourse that I've had with folks. I've grown so much doing this, both personally and professionally. I've learned so much about story, just writing and talking about story with you guys. I'm constantly getting different perspectives and different ways of looking at things, because I'm fortunate to have this audience that I can that I can have this discourse with. So and some of my best friends I've gained from this. Eric has lived with me for 3 years. He and I are best friends, and never would have met him if it weren't for YouTube. And that goes for a lot of other people too. Dan Torrey, DJ, of course. So yeah, it's friendships. And the second thing is getting to work for myself, getting to be my own boss. It's wonderful. It's not a thing I really expected to be able to do without writing a book and striking it big, and I never expected that to happen. So this remains on the grand YouTube scheme, small potatoes, and it's the best of both worlds, because I can do it any way I want to, and I don't feel I don't feel the pressure that you would if you were like a big top tier, where people start to look at you as a professional thing. But I also am able to kind of make it the main thing I do. Worst thing is what I said earlier. I tend to really stretch myself too thin. And the worst thing used to be sometimes making my fun of my work the same thing, because that sounds theoretically awesome, but I got to a point where I was reviewing absolutely everything I was doing. And so I was thinking about work all the time. I was thinking about what I was going to say about a thing instead of just enjoying it. And it made it difficult to remember how to enjoy certain things. And that's why I've streamlined. DJ, there is a percentage now of things that I watch and play and read that I don't actually sit down and talk about right after. There is a percentage.
Wow.
I didn't have that a year ago. It was 100%, almost like 98.
Yeah, I remember in the Crisis days, it was pretty insane that you were watching so many TV shows.
Yeah, my brain is still asking for a refund, but anyway.
But we still have Morphamania. Here's a good $2 super chat from Roger Lee.
Everybody's just singing the Smallville theme in the comments right now.
That's great.
Soultrack is writing all the lyrics. I made this whole world shine for you. One of these nights we'll do a karaoke night and get the channel banned. Go ahead.
Does the bat phone in your bat cave actually work?
It does, apparently. David sent me that. I haven't actually plugged it in and tried to use it. Blue Dragon or Solar Dragon, I also love that song. I do. I don't care what anybody says. I think the Smallville theme song is great. I like that band a lot. I was really sad when that lead singer died. God, a decade ago now? Has it been that long? But anyway, yeah, apparently it does. I don't have a landline, so I haven't plugged it in. I haven't got to really mess with it, but apparently the front lights up and it blinks and it makes sounds, and you can talk through it. It is actually a working phone. I also have a bank that was on the cap desk for a long time that was not a working phone, but the one I have on the desk right now actually is a working phone. I just need to find some dumb excuse to get a landline and use it. And so yeah.
I like this question because I like this man. Will you ever collaborate again with Oliver Harper?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, I will. Oliver and I have been talking quite a bit, somewhat recently. We actually had plans to get back to the Jurassic Park movies. We're going to do all of them. And sure. I think we're going to do all of them. Yeah, that was a plan. We were going to go through all of them. We did Lost World, or we were going to do Lost World. Excuse me. Nobody get excited. We haven't recorded that yet. Right before I took the break, right before the hiatus, he and I had plans. I had to cancel them. We are going to get together and do that. I need Oliver Harper's voice on the Jurassic House commentary. I need it so bad. It has to happen. It's very important to me. And I will not die happy until I have spoken with Oliver Harper through that entire movie. It's important. It has to happen. And yeah, so that's going to happen. Oliver Oliver gave me a bunch of great advice for the relaunch. A conversation he and I had right before that had a little bit to do with why I took off when I did and started re-strategizing some things. So I want to thank Oliver a lot for that. And yeah, he and I still talk quite a bit. I consider him a close friend, and he's been so great to me. And if you've never looked at his channel, do it, because he does look like one of the most professional channels on YouTube. I am not, but he's great. Yes, David, he does have a soothing narration voice. Absolutely, he does. And I have always been jealous of his accent.
That was from Tony Suarez. Thank you for the $2 super chat. David, speaking of David, he sends us a $5 super chat.
Hey, David, how you doing, buddy? Thanks, man.
Brace yourself. Given the threat of global.
Oh, it's another one of these, is it?
Given the threat of global thermonuclear warfare, along with the instability in the Middle East, are you excited for season 3 of Designated Survivor?
I have not looked at that yet because I've only watched. What was the question? Just about.
Are you excited for season 3?
Yeah, it's already dropped, right? Isn't that already out? So Netflix, when that got canceled, Netflix picked it up, which I'm really hoping they do with a tick. I'm not, holding my breath or anything, but I'm hoping that happens. Yes, Designated Survivor got a 3rd season. I'm assuming it's the last one, but I guess I don't know. I don't look deep into that. I haven't gotten around to finishing the first season. I love that show, though. I think it's great. So I will go back and finish it at some point. All cards on the table. I got to a place where I just could not pay attention to politics anymore. I had a really hard time looking at it. Just real world politics. I just can't even anymore, DJ. And so, as folks know, I don't consider myself a political person. I had been keeping up with the news. I was trying to be informed, and I would like to do that. It was getting too depressing. It was getting very difficult for me to do that. And Designated Survivor is a very optimistic show, and I mean, it plays with shades of gray, but it's very thoughtful and positive, though, about those things. It doesn't necessarily think that we're headed to the brink of despair, or we have to be. It thinks perhaps a good person could be president. Maybe it's possible, and or at least if it's not possible, somebody's trying real hard, and it's interesting to watch. But it was making me think too much about politics, so I stopped watching it. I'll get back to it at some point. I really want to. And Dave is also trying to get me to go back to West Wing, which I would like to do as well, because I like the pilot immensely.
All right.
Yeah. Where are we on the goal, sir?
We are at 87. We are only $13 away.
$13 away from having purple hair.
There's no going back if this happens, guys.
Moment of silence for the fact that sentence has been uttered. Okay. Do we have some more super chats to knock out?
We do. We're still behind. We've got.
Oh man, let's do another one and then go back to the pre-written, because I don't want to shaft the pre-written folks, but we are going to have to catch up. We have technically only 7 minutes left in the show. DJ, if you're willing, I think we'll go a little over. At least get those knocked out. It would be a crying shame if we ended $13 away. But if we get 5-10 minutes past showtime and nobody else is interested in this, it will be sad and we will bow our heads, but we will stop the broadcast. Go ahead.
All right. We have a super chat from Donnie St. Pierre, $5. Hey Cap, what do you think is Stephen King's best piece of advice? Doesn't have to be from On Writing. Thanks for everything.
Wow, that's a great question. I haven't thought about that in a while. I have talked quite a bit about that book, and that's where I've heard Stephen King give most of his advice. He is, and I've listened to some lectures too, but a lot of the stuff that I've heard in his lectures have been things that he's said, or just talks that he's given to colleges, have been things that he said in On Writing. But a lot of it, I don't know, the big one for me is don't wait for your muse, is just sit down and try to do the work and see what comes to you. Not everybody writes exactly the same way. It's not fair to say that that's how everybody absolutely must do it. But from my experience, and maybe I just say this because it resonates with me because I've had this experience, but I found myself writing even more often after I heard him say that, because if I sit down and I let the cobwebs get away from me and I write for 10, 15, 20 minutes and not much is happening on the page, eventually I tend to get in a groove and I start to have what I always call an out-of-body experience, where the story just begins to tell itself. And that's what that's what Stephen King describes often too. You're gonna have good days and bad days. Every day is not gonna be exactly the same, but having a structured time, having a time that you sit down at your desk and try to do the work, a lot of people assume that is like not conducive to creativity, that you've got to wait until the spirit moves you, and that has not been my experience, and his either. And again, it may just be, different strokes for different folks, but I really encourage people to attempt to take that advice. I wrote the food novel in 8 weeks. And I did it the same time every night, with rare exception. I think there were 2 nights I skipped. Every night I sat down and I worked on that, and I wrote for 2 hours, or I wrote a certain number of words. And there were some nights where I didn't get as much work done, but I still got some work done. And it's important to note that the work that doesn't come out great, that you're not going to use, is still valid because you got it out of your system, because you went, well, that's not the way I want to do it, or that doesn't sound right. And it's an experience you have to get you going down the right path. So anyway, I think that's his best piece of advice. It's certainly the thing that I tend to say is often as he does, because I've had that similar experience.
Awesome. Well, as for pre-written, we got one from Cinematographic that he's asked me about a few times, so I'm glad I'm going to be able to get it to you. Dear Captain Logan, if G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra was made and released today with a better script, how well regarded do you think it would be?
Hard to say. I've never seen that film. I never really cared that much about G.I. Joe. I've never gotten around to watching that. I didn't see the original movie either. I like that question though. I think it's because it came out today and it was a better movie. Do you think it would be well received? Well, maybe. I don't know what the passage of time would do for that. I guess that feels like more in the vein of a superhero type of thing. So maybe that's what you're getting at. Maybe now those kinds of movies could appeal to a larger audience. But I would think that the military bent with that. The longer time moves on, the more people aren't really caring about movies like that. Big fun, almost, I don't want to say celebrate the military kinds of movies, but I just don't think there are as many people that just get excited about silly gung-ho military movies as they used to. I don't know if I'm right about that, but that's the sense I get. So, I don't know. I don't know if the passage of time helps interest in that. I just don't think there's a lot of interest in G.I. Joe as a property in general.
Sorry, there's a really amusing comment by Matthew Bass about the purple hair.
Well, what did he say? You can't leave us hanging there.
He says, I know what it's like to lose, to know that you're destined to win, only to fail all the same. Dread it. Run from it. Purple hair comes all the same.
That's hilarious. Yeah, even if we don't get there, I don't know, maybe someday. Maybe someday. All right, go ahead.
All right, we have Mr. Roboto gives us another $5. Thank you, Mr. Roboto. After Brightburn, question to ask to Jarrell when you get to heaven. Oh. So I guess, did Brightburn give you any questions? We've done it. We've done it.
That comment is my favorite comment of all time. I'm going to read it now. I'm going to do super chats out of order. I got to read it now. We'll get back to that question in a second. Donnie St. Pierre, thank you so much, buddy. So we are officially doing the purple hair thing. You're going to see me with purple hair. Donnie St. Pierre, $13 super chat.
13.
I don't even want to see this man with purple hair.
He's just got money to blow.
Okay, can you read that question more? I want to thank everybody who got us there. You will next week see me with purple hair. It's going to happen, much to my wife's chagrin, I am sure. Hi, guys. Everybody's back. How many more super chats do we have?
We have 1, 2. We're not counting that one. 1, 2, 3. 3 to 3.
Okay. He's out as quick as we can. My family's here. Say hi, guys. Say hi, everybody.
Hi.
My family in the background. Here's Freddie. Freddie says hi. Okay, so let me go ahead and knock out these super chats. Donnie St. Pierre just posted purple hearts.
That's amazing.
Well, go ahead and give me that question again, and we will knock out these last couple. Go ahead.
Yes, after Brightburn, do you have any questions to ask Jarrell when you get to heaven?
Oh, questions to ask Jarrell when you get to heaven. Why did you do anything you did, Jarrell? If it was even his father that did it, I mean, I don't know what's going on in that movie, but if Freddie, knock it up. Let me get through my show, okay? So why did you want your son to rule the world? Why did you wait until he got powers to make that to do like a mind control-y thing or put the idea in his head or whatever was going on there? Was it the powers? Like, was it waiting for the powers to happen, or did you give him the powers, and why that age? Yeah, just everything is my answer to that question.
All right. Well, we got a $2.
The real Sonic is on Jason's T-shirt.
So we got no question, but a $2 donation from Michael Martin, which helped us push us over the top. So thanks, Michael.
Thanks, man. Really appreciate it.
And we have a $5 from Ginger Venom. Jengar Venom? I feel like the mind wipe at the end of Smallville was trying to say that no matter the choices and experiences Lex had, he would always be the villain.
Yeah, that's sure how it reads. I mean, I think the real reason was so that we could get to Superman status quo, right? Like that's the real reason, and it's the most cop-outy Smallville way to do it. Like at least they're consistent, although it is the craziest example of that kind of thing in that show. But yeah, I mean, you know, if you want to read anything into it, that's what it's doing. But that's not interesting. I mean, like we had a potentially interesting, argument discussion about that stuff early on in that show. And then it just turns into, well, he's a bad guy. You know, he has to go bad, so he's going to have that. There is a nature-nurture thing with Lex that's interesting. Through the show, we're like the question of whether he was always like predestined to be that way because it's just in his nature. That's interesting. But it doesn't watch that way because we didn't get to see him finally arrive to what he does at the end. It's just he's gone for 3 seasons, and we occasionally throw clones in there, and then we got the actor to agree to come back for the last episode, so we can try some way to get him in there, but not know that ultimately at the end, spoiler alert, that Clark Kent and Superman are the same person, because you can't have that for Superman status quo. Wouldn't it have blown everybody's mind if we just let it go some other direction? Would have been crazy because you're not going to make any more show anyway. So, like, okay, if the whole thing was always going to be, well, he's got to put the costume on at the end, wouldn't it be cool if he stuck with a Lex that knows his secret and for some reason isn't going to tell everybody, or maybe does? What if Smallville ended with I Am Iron Man? Could you imagine that?
That'd be crazy.
Could you imagine that? Just let it go where it's going to go. And that's why that show, at the end of the day, it just absolutely infuriates me because it's not character-driven. Like, even when it feels like it is, by the end, it's always, we've got this series Bible that tells us what it's got, what it has to be, and it doesn't matter how contrived, nonsensical, or just bona fide stupid it is to get there. We'll do anything. We got no shame. And that's what was so sad about that show.
All right, and let me correct that. I messed up. His name is Gengar Venom, like the Pokemon, which I love. So sorry I missed your name.
I see. Okay, Gengar.
And then Magpie's Nest Productions, another $3, says, just up my Patreon to $15 my requests. LOL.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it. And then put in another $3 just to let everybody know about it.
And then you read the Donnie St. Pierre one that pushed us over the top. So
that was amazing. That was absolutely hysterical. I don't even want to see that guy with purple hair.
Well, you're gonna see it.
Man, I want to give that guy some kind of a prize. That is my favorite super chat of all time.
We did it. Can you believe it? They said it couldn't be done.
I can't believe it. Actually, that was absolutely nuts. Thanks everybody. You guys are nuts. I don't know what else to say, but we sure appreciate the support and helping us out with the madness. So yeah, you're gonna see me with that next week. Once again, probably much to my wife and everyone I know's chagrin. But we're going to do our level best to make it look cool. Hopefully it looks cool. And if not, we'll have a few weeks that we have to live with it, and I might just wear more hats. DJ, hope you had a good time. I certainly did.
Oh, yeah. It was crazy tonight. A lot of fun.
We will see everybody else. I don't know what I'm talking about. We'll see everybody again. I'm getting delirious. We'll see everybody again next Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central for another Captain Logan show. I'm going to try to put out some other cool stuff next week. I've got at least, I've got a commentary to put out. We're going to try to bring back the Comic Vault next week. I have a few vaults in the queue right now that I just haven't had a chance to edit and post yet. So we're going to try to bring that back next week. Eric and I are bringing back Ultimate Spider-Man reviews. People have been asking about that. That is coming back. And we've got a couple other cool things in there as well. And we're going to start getting to some of the requests that we've been getting from commentaries and comic vaults on Patreon. If you would like to make a request for one of those two things, it's not a monthly request now. It's in a rotation. We're doing them as often as humanly possible. It's the $15 tier on Patreon. If you want to join the SSSS, that's the $5 tier, and that lets you talk to DJ, me, Eric, Dan, lots of other fun, magnanimous folks that we know about superhero properties on screen and other fun things like that. And just $2 gets you access to Geek Evolution After Dark, our uncensored talk show at least once and often twice a month. Me and Eric talking about all kinds of stuff we wouldn't usually talk about on the channel. And again, it's uncensored and it gets wild. Once again, thanks a lot for watching, and we hope everybody had a good time. I was Captain Logan.
Oh, we don't usually do this. I was DJ.
I guess we don't. Yeah, just get ready. I can spring it on you anytime. We'll see you later, folks.